Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Grace and it's good to have you here. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And how are you doing? Especially if you stay in Nigeria here where we've been in the fix for the past few days. I hope you're fine. I hope you're fine. And I want you to know that I'm rooting for you, okay? Fighting. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys 6 things I learned the hard way, and I really wish I didn't have to learn the hard way, but I did. And I'm sharing it because the fewer mistakes, the better. Because if we are being honest, you don't have to make all the mistakes in the world. If you can learn from somebody's experience, it's even best. And I wish I had somebody's experience to learn from, because I don't really like the fact that I made these mistakes. First thing I learned the hard way is the need to forgive people quickly, because we don't even know tomorrow, we don't know next week, and we don't want to be in a situation where we wish we did some things earlier. We don't want to have guilt, we don't want to have regrets, we don't just want to be in an uncomfortable situation. Because in my own case, I was holding on to a grudge and the person was actually remorseful. It's easier to forgive somebody when the person is remorseful, as opposed to when the person doesn't even know what they've done wrong and they're not even repentant to start with. So the person was actually remorseful, but I was just holding on to this grudge, and I was telling myself, okay, I would forgive the person very soon. I kept postponing my forgiveness, and I didn't even know the person was ill. And I just got a call someday and I heard the person was dead. Now, whatever it is I want to do with the forgiveness, I can just go ahead and do it, because the person doesn't need it again, and I am left with a guilt that can last me a lifetime. And I have so much regrets. You don't even want to be in my shoe. And I just really wish I forgave this person, because it even happened in March a few years ago, and every time we get to March, it just reminds me afresh, and I just feel somehow. And I don't even know if that's why I just feel like making this video in March, and March is my birth month. And you can imagine how every year close to my birthday, and I just always remember this situation. It's just so sad, honestly. So please forgive people quickly, okay? For your sanity, for your peace of mind, and just for yourself, if you don't see the need to do it for them. You know what is funny? I watched a movie on YouTube that was talking about something like this, and I enjoyed the movie, but I just thought it's so not real. They're just doing too much. And a few months later or a few weeks later, it happened to me. So guys, these things actually happen when you don't forgive somebody and you're postponing it, and the next day you just hear the person is dead. Even if the person doesn't even die, just forgive people, okay? It really does a lot for you, more than it does for them. The next thing I would say I learned the hard way is it's better to not invest than for you to invest wrongly. And I would always say 2020 was it was the worst year ever for me, because sometime in 2020 everybody was making investments, everybody was making wise financial decisions, everybody was just doing so much, and I started to feel left out. I started to feel like I didn't know what I was doing, or I was not serious, because I didn't even have any investment. And before you know it, people started to ask me, how many investments do you have? What plans are you making for your future? What are you doing? What are you doing? It was just starting to get too much, and I decided to look into it, and I finally invested wrongly, and I lost everything I had, and it has changed my life forever. I haven't even recovered, honestly, because I lost everything I had, guys. Now the thing is, investments can really be a life-changing thing, in the positive and in the negative, because in my own case, it was in the negative. It can actually be a safe landing for someone. It can actually be a retirement plan. It can actually be what do you say when you keep something aside for who knows what will happen tomorrow. It can actually come in handy in so many ways. It can actually change your life for the best. But when you don't make that decision wisely, or when you don't really, if you're not lucky, I don't even know if to use lucky, but if you don't do it well, it can actually damage your life for good. And that is why I would always say, if someone was to ask me, if you don't feel the leading to, if you don't really understand that investment opportunity, if you don't really feel peace whenever you think about investing in that particular venture, if you don't just feel comfortable, don't invest. If you don't feel comfortable, if you feel unsettled, every time you think about investing, you just feel unsettled, you just don't really even understand it, but you just want to do it because everybody's doing it, please don't do it, okay? Because one thing we don't even know is you can invest in yourself. You can make sure that you're not the way you were last year. You can invest in your craft. You can invest in your skills. You can just invest in self-development, and make sure that if you were to be charging this amount for something that you can do, you would charge more now. You gain more experience, you learn, you practice. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. You can invest in you. That money, you can invest it in yourself. I'm not saying you should not invest, though. If you really know what you're doing, please go ahead, because that's one of the best decisions you would ever make for yourself. The next thing I would say I learned the hard way is that fear only makes things worse. Sometime in 2020, I would always say 2020 was my worst year ever. So sometime in 2020, I had a health scare. It was really terrible. It was partly a fault of mine and the healthcare professional, and I started to panic because I was so afraid this can be happening to me. This is why I was always postponing this. I was just so afraid, and my family kept telling me to calm down and just take it easy. It happened. Let's find a way to fix it, and let's take it easy. But I was so in a rush. I just had to fix it. This cannot be happening to me. And in an attempt to fix whatever had happened to me, I made it worse. And when I say I made it worse, it's not even times 2 or 5, times 1,000,000,000. I made it worse, and I'm left with the problem forever. Maybe not, I don't know. And now, whenever I think about whatever it is I've done to myself and I want to panic again, I tell myself to calm down, because fear brought me here and I cannot afford to let it take me wherever it wants to take me again. And I just learned the hard way. Fear only makes things worse. Whenever you're scared of something, it might look like it's obvious. Of course, we know fear is not good, or fear is not avoidable. Yes, it's not avoidable. It's a natural reaction for us to be scared of something that is scary, or something that is uncomfortable, or something that is not usual. It's very normal. But when you're scared, just take it easy and don't let it inform the decisions that you make. Just calm down, and then if you can afford to wait and then make the decisions later. Let me give you another example. Let's say a family member of yours is missing and you're so scared because you don't know what would have happened to the person, and it's almost 12 a.m. and the person will usually come back home by 6 p.m. And so because you're so scared, you don't know what have happened to the person, you go out on the streets looking for the person, and then you endanger yourself. And it all happened because you were scared of losing a family member, and you didn't really think properly, and you just put yourself in a more messier situation. The chances are the person might come back home and say something happened, and the person is not even in any problem. But you that went to look for the person, you're now in a problem. Or let's say the person is actually in a problem and you now are in a problem. So we have two situations in our hands. And so fear really doesn't do any good. Now I see why the Bible says fear is not of God. It's nothing good. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of sound mind and faith. So please, whenever you are scared, it's normal, but just take it easy. Don't let it overwhelm you. Whenever you're scared, you would always get the worst case scenario in your head, but just tell yourself it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, and another thing fear can also do is it can hold you back from pursuing a dream, an idea. You have something in your head and it's possible that it can blow the world. It's possible that it can blow up everybody's mind. It's possible it can take you places. It's possible it can change your life. But fear is holding you back from pursuing it. And so you've even failed before you started just because of fear. Do you see how terrible fear is? I can talk about fear for a whole year. The next thing I would say I learned the hard way is that life is so unpredictable. You could have your life planned out for the next 10-15 years and nothing goes to plan. Nothing goes according to plan. Everything just goes the opposite, and you're starting to wonder, is this a pointer to the fact that I'm unserious, or I don't know what I'm doing, or something is wrong with me? But most times it's not your fault. Life is unpredictable and we can only make plans. How do they say it? Man proposes and God disposes. So you can only make plans. It doesn't mean it will come to pass, and it doesn't mean that the fact that life is not going to according to the way that you've planned it now means that it is not beautiful. It's very possible that 5 years from now you look back and see that, oh my god, my life was not even bad as I thought it was, or it wasn't even bad at all. And I also know it's very easy at a time like this for you to see everybody's life as beautiful. Everybody would start to look as though they know what they are doing. They start to look as though everybody's life is going according to their plan except yours. The reason why this lesson is so important is because when you don't have life the way that you've planned it, it's very easy for you to hate your life. It's very easy for nothing to make sense. So that is why I'm trying to let you know that you should not be fixated on a particular way that you will want your life to go, because if it doesn't go that way, it's very easy for you to feel like, what's the reason why you should still keep living? It can make you not even want to live. It can make you depressed. So that is why I'm trying to make you see that you should loosen up and be open-minded, and even when you make plans, don't just expect that everything should follow through, and so that when it doesn't follow through, you'll be okay. You still can see the beauty in the life that you have and appreciate it and make the most of it. Because if you don't make the most of it and you just sit down and not want your life, it doesn't change anything. The next thing I would say I learned the hard way is that if I wait for something that is making me sad and something that is out of my control, if I'm waiting for that to change before I let myself be happy, I might just wake up tomorrow and I find that 10 years have gone by and I am not happy, and I've not been happy because when this happened to me in 2020, this health, something I told you about, when it happened to me in 2020, I was so sad. And I didn't let myself be happy for a long time. Even up until now, I'm still struggling to let myself be happy, because sometimes I catch myself regretting and wishing I did not and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, when you cannot control something that is making you unhappy and you let it continue to make you unhappy, then you don't really like yourself. Because it's different if something that is not making you happy can be fixed. If it's different if it's something you can just fix with a snap of your finger, then I would say it's okay for you to be uncomfortable so that you get to fix it. But when you cannot fix it, it's out of your control, it's something you cannot handle, and then you let yourself, you don't permit yourself. Anytime you're trying to be happy, you tell yourself, why should you be happy? This is going wrong. And so you don't let yourself be happy, and then you say, okay, whenever this happens, whenever I'm able to correct this, then I will let myself be happy. What if you're never able to correct it? The last but not the least thing I had to learn the hard way is that people will always be people, and that is why God is God. Lower your expectations if you want to have peace of mind, if you want sanity, if you want to live long, because people will always disappoint, people will always have shortcomings, people would always be in the wrong, people would always be people. And the same way you would not say you've not disappointed somebody before. You won't believe I was filming this video and I didn't know my camera had stopped recording me for like 10 minutes, and so if it kind of feels disconnected, that is why. I was trying to round up my last point, and I was saying that you should give people grace, allow people be people and make mistakes. People would always have shortcomings, people would always disappoint you, people would always make mistakes from time to time, and you should just give them grace as much as you would like to be given. And this doesn't mean that you should just accept anything. It doesn't mean you should not have standards. It doesn't mean you should not hold people accountable. No, just know the extent to which your expectations are. If it's healthy, if it's realistic or not, and if it's healthy, and so that it doesn't end up hurting you at the end of the day. Because most times it's not even the actual situation that is hurting you, it's just because your expectations were so mighty. Because on a normal day this person's action should have been okay, but you expected so much to the extent that this person is bringing a 70% and it looks as though it's a 10%, just because your expectation is off the roof and nobody can even match it, and it just makes it look as though nobody's trying, but your expectation is just too much. Please like this video. We've come to the end, and I will see you next week Tuesday 6 p.m. Should I tell you something? It's past 2 p.m. and today is Tuesday, and I'm going to edit this video today. I'm going to post it today. I'm going to get the thumbnail today. I'm going to do everything today in less than 3 hours, and I make so much effort. I put so much effort into this YouTube, and I would really love it if you could support me by liking my video, subscribing, leaving me a comment, sharing if you can, because it takes so much. This is the 5th or the 6th time that I am shooting this video, and there's always one problem or the other, and you cannot even come close to understanding. Please support me, okay? I'm actually begging. Thank you so much for watching.